Welcome back to a pre-recorded segment for NerdVsWorld. If you followed the Facebook page, you'll know that we've interviewed Emma Newman this week.
We're in the lovely tasting rooms in Bath, and very lovely it is too.
We're very excited to be going to see Neil Gaiman later.
Indeed, we are, yes. The squee levels are starting to build.
So how are we all?
Yes, very well. Sorry, we didn't do introductions.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You are.
I'm Brendan.
You are.
I'm Emma.
You are.
I'm Emma too.
This is going to get confusing, and I'm Spindles.
It's going to be like that Monty Python sketch where everyone's called Bruce.
Yeah.
So we just need to
Bruce.
call you both Emma as well,
Emma,
and then
Emma.
no one will be confused.
That's fine.
I've been called a lot worse.
Brendan make a good Emma. You're clean shaven. So
I'm clean shaven now, so I wouldn't make one as good as me.
So we're up to interview you today. A cry went up on the internet. I think Cherry Bomb retweeted a tweet from yourself.
I think, yeah, you said something about going on to a
yes.
podcast and would anyone want to interview about Split Worlds? And I think somebody suggested us, and we went, yeah, of course, yes, we'd love to have you on the show.
It's a tricky thing because I didn't want to just like say, hello, can I come and pick? It seems a bit rude, doesn't it? So I thought I could have a general...
I think we'd be a lot happier if people just came up to us and went, can we go on your podcast? We go, yeah, it's great that it means we don't have to keep constantly harassing people to come on the show.
We had a podcast earlier where we talked about what guests would we have on when we knew we'd made it.
Yes.
And
you were on his list of if we get ever on the podcast, then we know that the show's working.
What have you made? That's not what you meant, is it?
I have to admit, I'm slightly disappointed that you're not drinking tea.
Oh, I've just drunk a gallon of tea beforehand because I had to have a lift into Bath, so I was at a coffee house and I made this coffee last as long as I could, and then I moved on to the tea, and I thought I actually have reached my limit, which I didn't realise was possible. And it happened just an hour or so ago in Bath.
I've yet to manage a limit. I think I get through about 5 or 6 pints of tea a day when I'm at work.
I get my tea imported from Ireland.
What?
Barry's tea in Ireland it's almost synonymous with tea. You don't ask for a cup of tea, you ask for a cup of Barry's.
Really?
Yeah.
I could not ask for a cup of Barry's. That just seems bad and wrong.
It does.
Yes.
So,
I have a very different mental image of these blokes. Hello! In the car.
I've just got images now of this guy sat in Ireland called Barry who's just plotting your demise for stealing all this tea.
But no, whenever my folks go across, I was like, bring us back some tea. And like boxes of Barry's Gold Blend.
Gold blend?
Yeah.
With this gold blend, you are really spoiling us.
when we got lost earlier, when we were going round, we saw a tea emporium, which
Yes,
we thought
just around the corner,
we
a
thought
tea
was
emporium.
rather amazing.
That is just the best word ever to be used with all shops. There's a Mr. B's reading emporium. And there's the emporium in my books, but just the word emporium makes me feel excited, and
Yes,
tea emporium is like double, like this
Tea
this
rooms and
pure
emporium.
excitement. Yeah,
Excitement squared.
If it was like tea and books emporium, I would be like, I cannot cope with the synaptic activity.
With Kate.
Sorry, Tony. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to go in. I'd just combust. Well, there's a conversation killer.
Combusting in a bookshop.
It was just because he was fiddling with his knobs, that was distracting.
I'm wondering why he was fiddling with his knobs.
Steady. One doesn't ask a gentleman why he is fiddling with his knobs. That would be rude.
Well, the answer is he's a sound engineer. Unfortunately, it's not. Nothing serious.
Part of the job description.
Professional knob twiddler.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I've had no responses to my CVs.
Have you been saying that you're a professional knob twiddler?
Yeah.
Then you might,
I've been twiddling knobs for several years now.
Skills and expertise.
Yeah.
can twiddle knobs. Wow.
For money.
Always for money. You don't do it for free. If you're going to twiddle a knob, get paid for it. Let's start with an easy question then. Well, it depends on the definition of easy, I suppose. But we asked you to pick 5 films.
Oh, that's
for
not
our
an easy
NerdVsWorld 5 films.
question.
The background is that we've been building the NerdVsWorld list of films that you have to see. And so everybody who comes on the show and people on Facebook and on Twitter and so forth have been putting forward their 5 films, which we've been compiling into this list of you must see these films. Oddly, we're like second or third result if you Google films you have to see.
That's very cool. I'm not allowed 9, am I?
You're not allowed 9.
I've been really struggling with
No,
this.
I'm afraid you're going to have to try and whittle.
Okay,
Let's go for number 1, an easy one.
okay, number 1. No, that's not an easy one.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
even choose which one is number 1. Oh, I'm really bad at this kind of thing. Okay, so, the first one I wrote down was Sideways.
Excellent film.
Yes, and the reason why I put Sideways down is, well, there are a couple actually. 3 main weapons is Paul Giamatti, who is, I think, my favourite actor.
He's very, have you seen American Splendor?
No, I haven't.
That's very good.
I'm a very poor fan if I haven't seen everything, but all of the stuff that I've seen him in, he just blows me away. And there's a bit towards the end of Sideways, spoilers, where he looks like he's going to cry when he hears a particular bit of news, and I just burst into tears. Just this one, that he can do so much with just his eyes. So the fact that he's in it, but also I think the first 5 to 10 minutes of the film is a perfect study in how to introduce a character elegantly, which is something you don't often see in Hollywood or television. It's usually with a bludgeoning you over the head with this character, here are the traits you need to know. But they say so much about him just in the whole how he gets ready for the day and how he gets to his friend's house. Like, doing the newspaper in the car as he's driving. It's just, I love it. So that's why Sideways is on the list.
So did you, am I right in thinking that Sideways was written as a play first?
I think it was a book first, was it?
I'm
adapted to
following
a
the guy
play?
who wrote it on Twitter. And
Yeah,
I've got
I
a
don't
feeling he
know.
said something about that. Well, either it started as a play or there is a play version of it now. So I'll have to check that out. But
Yeah.
there's definitely a play version of it existing somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's a film that I heard about, and I only saw it last year. And when I saw it out there, I thought that's not my kind of film, because I really don't watch anything like that at all. But I'm so glad I did. So that goes on the list. Aliens.
Aliens, that's my favourite out of them.
Yeah, I mean, I have a deep love for Alien.
Yeah.
And it's obviously a completely different film, but Aliens is my comfort film. And it's the one that I crave watching. And again, that segment where the Marines are introduced how to do character sketches. You just need to watch that little segment and the one-liners and the quips, and everything you need to know is expressed in that scene. And yes, it's formulaic, and yes, it's silly, but it goes without saying that Ripley just is wonderful, and that she can be tough and yet maternal, and all that kind of stuff, which has been talked about ad infinitum everywhere online. So Aliens, definitely.
I think that is one of my favourite films. I have to admit, I think when I was a teenager, I used to watch Aliens nearly every day. I've got to ask them, special edition or the original?
Special edition.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It's got to be special edition.
With the auto sentries.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. And the background where you see the colony before it's destroyed.
And you get a lot more of Ripley before she sets off on the mission again, and it's all about her daughter and stuff, so there's a lot more broadening of the story.
And deepening, and you get a sense of what has been lost and destroyed having seen the colony. And just the gentle dystopian aspect of seeing the corporation on everything at this colony, even on the little toy trike thing, I think it's got the corporation symbol. It's Brandon Young. So I think that's very
Another
cool.
bizarre one with that is that Aliens was the first video I ever bought, the first 18 video I ever bought when I think I was 14.
My dad had it, so I watched it because of that. And I didn't see Alien until 10 years after I'd seen Aliens.
I'd seen Aliens first.
And I was really shocked at how different it was.
Yeah,
It's completely
It is a completely different film.
Because Aliens is more of a horror film, as we've discussed before.
Alien is a haunted house in space movie, and Aliens is a shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Science fiction shooter.
Yeah, and it's just so satisfying on something, and so damn quotable.
God, yes.
Oh, God.
Quoted it.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
practically all of it.
I think we used to do a tabletop role-playing system, which we called the Sundowner system, and instead of using dice, you had to use apt movie quotes to perform a task.
Oh, I like that.
That's awesome.
It was brilliant. So you had to really know film. Aliens was brilliant for it. Whenever you wanted to make a piloting check or something, it's like one way elevator straight to hell. Yeah, so Aliens was very useful when we were
I
doing
love
that.
that idea. It's
a
like
great
Exalted, but with film quotes.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I really like that.
You should try it sometime.
Yeah,
Just
I
dispense
want to
with
do
dice
that. Yeah.
and use quotes instead.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the Aliens roleplay game?
I didn't.
That is a
no.
brutal roleplay game. Combat on that is, you might as well just create 5 or 6 characters before you start the game, because you're going to lose some characters.
You do it live.
Well, I did. I went on the Alien War thing. I don't know if you remember. There was like a kind of immersive alien experience.
Oh yeah, in London.
Well, I saw it in Glasgow because it was on tour.
Oh, it was on tour.
And I think I was like 10 or
Was it
11 or
good?
something. It was. It scared me crapless. I was like an 11-year-old. They got me to like hold the doors for them, and I was like, right, no, on 3 we're gonna open the door. I'm like shaking.
Did you settle in the Trocadero Centre and like everything else in the Trocadero Centre died
Yeah,
dead?
eventually. I think there was a Facebook group started up a few years ago about bring back Alien War. I keep half expecting it to turn up on Kickstarter every couple of weeks.
I would be there.
I would be there.
So
It
be
was,
there.
it was fantastic because but the thing is with me, I just wanted to be in the marine outfit with all the pulse rifles and everything because they had like blank fires and everything, and there were aliens running around in the dark, and it was
Oh my God.
brilliant.
Was it something like it's too expensive to pay off Sigourney Weaver or something?
I have no idea. I don't know about the logistics of it,
It
but
was
it was a
some issue with
fantastic,
licensing.
fantastic
just
show.
got
It took
too
ages
expensive
queuing to
for what
get
they were
in,
making.
and you were only in there for like 10 minutes maximum, but it was awesome.
And things fall out
I
the
would love
ceiling.
that.
I would love that.
Oh, I would so love that.
Yes, people get dragged off down the corridor and stuff. Brilliant.
I'm going to tell you about the immersive game I played last week, but I guess we should carry on with films
No,
first.
say about your immersive game.
My best mate, who I've been gaming with for years, has wanted to run like a thing for ages, an immersive live, and she ran it for me last week, and it was like a Bourne-style spy thing in central London.
Alright.
And it was just so great. It was me and 8 NPCs. So yeah, it was something really special. Saw someone get like shot in front of me, and I actually went into shock, even though I knew it wasn't real. It was so, because I was so in it by that point.
That's brilliant. I love stuff
Oh,
like that.
it was really, she did it so well. It was very, very cool, but exhausting. We must have run and walked like 10 miles that day. But yeah, it was really, really cool. And there was a bit where we went to a hotel room. We had to like follow all of these like trail of clues and went to a hotel room, and there was stuff that we knew was hidden in the room, so we had to go through the room. So it was just this like bog standard cheap hotel in London, and I knew that there was this information that my contact had hidden there, and so I just went straight for the sheets on the bed, and I was like ripping the pillowcase off, ripping the quilt cover off, and then suddenly thought, oh, I just lifted the mattress and it was there under the mattress, and all of the bedding was in the corner, and the guy who was with me was just like kind of, okay. I think on some level I had always wanted to go and trash a hotel room. And it was just so great.
Where's the bomb?
Yeah. But yeah, oh yes, I did. And there was one of the best bits was that I had to tail someone through Waterloo Station without being seen, and then follow him to the Royal Festival Hall and drug his drink. And I was given this packet of Canderel, but obviously in game they were fast-acting sleeping tablets, and I had to get the tablets into his drink without him seeing. So I follow him. He buys this cup of tea. He sits down at this thing which has got like a seat with a division between it with a table shared. And so I'm like, oh my God, and I was so excited because I was thinking, my God, there are people everywhere. It's Sunday at the Royal Festival Hall. It was packed, and people are going to see me drugging me. And even though it was my mate who was the NPC, I was like, oh my God, bricking it, yeah.
Illicit sugar.
Yeah, so I don't know. I went to the bar and I ordered an orange juice. Like, duh, orange juice. Yes, I will sit down with my orange juice and pretend to. Oh, I didn't think it through. So I had to chug this orange juice, like, oh, and then buy a cup of tea and then sit next to him and pretend to put it in my tea. And I did it with the clicker on the packet. But because I was trying to do it surreptitiously, I didn't see if they went in or not. And so I was sitting there pretending to read my book whilst he was reading, like waiting for him to keel over, and he didn't. So I was like, oh, God damn it. So then I like got the 2 tablets into the palm of my hand and drugged him again. And then he finally went, and I had to lift the left luggage ticket from his pocket once he had collapsed. And so I was thinking, my God, if anyone had been watching me for the last 10 minutes, they'd see me kind of rohypnol this guy and then mug him as he's lying unconscious on this seat. So I knew it was in this envelope in his pocket, so I'd like put my bag on the barrier between the seats and like pretended to drop something next to him, thinking I'll just grab my piece of paper and the ticket and then away we go. But the bloody thing was stuck in his pocket, and I ended up having to like yank it out. I was thinking, oh my God! So I got it and then ran away. But it was the most exciting thing I have ever done.
Yeah, we used to do similar things to that. We used to do kind of Highlander ones where you could just randomly bump into one of them and then you'd have a sword fight and it would all be great. And then we did Assassins, the kind of first week of term when we were at university.
Assassins, yeah.
We did Assassins, and then. Oddly enough, I was best man for somebody a few years ago, and what we did for his stag weekend was we put him in the middle of an immersive experience, but we didn't tell him about it beforehand. So when he came up to Lancaster, and I got kind of half my mates who knew him to come out for drinks, and the half of my mates who didn't know him were the bad guys and the NPCs for the weekend. So we had like staged fights and big arguments and stuff on that night. Then I went missing, and he was training all over Lancashire following clues and stuff. He twigged at some point on the Saturday that he wasn't doing it.
Did he walk into the room, see you, and went?
He caught us right before the final showdown at Jubilee Tower because we were hiding in a room, and he kind of went, "All right, fair enough. We're like, dude, we're not here." That was the only point.
Get time out.
Yeah. Literally just went, dude, sorry, we're not here. But yeah, that lasted for a whole weekend from the Friday to the Sunday afternoon. That's what I did for his stag weekend.
He did believe it for a very long time.
He was totally suckered for most of it.
That is so brilliant. You're the best man ever.
Thank you. I've been a best man 3 times now.
Did you do immersive live gaming for every single one?
Others, no.
They actually
He was a role player, whereas the other one we took to Ozfest. And then
and is he made you sign a contract saying if you do that,
he said I wasn't allowed.
Oh, lightweight.
So yeah, I love stuff like that. I think it was brilliant.
It was brilliant once, because obviously with it being a Bourne thing, at some point I was activated, and it was a bit kind of long kiss goodnight.
Yeah.
But once I'd been activated, we went to the guy who was my kind of handler, needed to get some food, so we went into this like Tesco's Express on the Strand. I have never had such an exciting sausage roll shopping experience in my life. We were like, up to the end of the thing, like, clear. I mean, I want to, every shopping trip, I want to be a spy and be chased by baddies.
You need to get mirrors on the end of sticks and kind of pop them around.
You know the mirrors, like the curved mirrors they have in the thing? We were watching the curved mirrors to see if we were followed in. It was, oh my God, I have never been so excited when purchasing, small goods.
That's brilliant.
Weirdly enough, the storyline of mine was about complete personality overlay, that he was actually an assassin and stuff. It was exactly the same. I'll have to send you through it because I'll send you through the script for it because we filmed it. We made it into a film and shot it in like 10 days.
Cool.
Made a full feature film out of it, but we never got anywhere with it. But it was fun to do.
Yes,
it was nice to go back and do it all again and film it, and it was great.
That's cool. Oh, hang on a minute. Next film.
Anyways, yes, films.
We digressed a little
after that digression. Hey, but no, it's cool. Immersive live role-playing is the thing that we love.
It's the best kind of digression, really. I often think that real life is actually a digression from the role-playing, and it does get in the way. It gets in the way.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm looking at my list. Okay, the next one up is Ip Man. Have you seen Ip Man?
Ip Man is brilliant.
Oh my
it's one
God.
of the greatest.
You've so got to see it. It's
Such a good martial arts film.
Yeah, and you watch it and you think, oh, it's this kind of martial arts film, and then it all changes. Like, oh no, okay, it's this kind of martial. Oh no, and it changes again, and the fighting and the.
Fighting is brilliant.
It's so good. It's so good.
Just going to grab some drinks. I'll be 2 seconds.
We don't have to put the sound effects in either. That's a real chair.
No, this is real scraping of chairs. We'll get on to talking about tea later. I really want to talk about that.
So that's that. Yeah, it's just a great film, isn't it?
It's an awesome film. I saw that. It was on Channel 4's martial arts season.
Yes, I think that's when I saw it.
And they had Ip Man 2 the following night.
Yeah, which actually wasn't bad.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was I think part of the magic of Ip Man was that it was just so unexpectedly sterling.
Yeah.
So yes, Ip Man, and it's one that a lot of people haven't seen.
Is it IP or it?
Ip, IP.
As IP, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've seen the thing about IP Man, and I kept thinking like, what is it like?
Intellectual property.
Networking?
No, no. It's I don't know why. I don't know how true it is, but it's supposedly based on the story of Bruce Lee's trainer. Yeah, the man. He was the guy who developed Wing Chun. So there's that one. Oh no, I've only got 2 left.
So,
haven't I?
hang on, so what we had so far? Aliens,
Aliens, Sideways,
Sideways, and IP Man, and
Ip Man.
So yeah, you got 2 left.
Oh no, no, it's so hard. This is going to keep me awake tonight. I'll be thinking, why didn't I say the other one?
We do that every episode.
Every time it comes back, we're like, why didn't we say this?
Okay. All right. Number 4 is Labyrinth.
Oh,
Yeah.
genius! I
Labyrinth,
don't think anyone
and
who said that so far. That's a brilliant
It's
film.
not just because of the non-cod piece.
It just
That
because
is-
of David Bowie's
I know David
joke.
Bowie. I mean, my God, he is just so gorgeous in that. But even with that wig, I covered him. Even with that 80s hair.
Well, he is king of the goblins
He
after
is,
all.
oh my God, he is so hot. He's just gorgeous. It isn't that though. The reason I love that film so much is a genuinely strong female character, which is often overlooked in things. When people are talking about strong female characters, it's always Ripley. And I adore Ripley, but I think Sarah in some ways is an even better example of for me, what is the quintessential kind of strong female character, because she's not just a strong bloke, you know, without the non-cod piece.
She's a bit too whiny at the start, but then you
She
get
is
better.
whiny, but she has to be, because the other reason I love the film so much is
It's a
it's so
redemption
deep.
arc, isn't it? It's-
Yeah, and not just a redemption. I mean, obviously that's an important part of it, like the whole coming of age and growing up thing. But it's actually, when you look at it through a kind of a psychodynamic interpretation, it's actually really, really deep. Because like the whole idea of the labyrinth has been used as a kind of a tool of discussing self-development, and that when you go within yourself and you try and unpick the knots of your own psyche, your own personality from your kind of damage that you acquired during childhood, it's like a labyrinth. You may go round in circles, you come up to dead ends and all that kind of stuff, and you're trying to get to the centre. But the other thing that I love the fact that she has agency throughout the movie. She screws up, she needs people, she gets there in the end, but the thing that really nails it for me is that she is tempted with the patriarchal thing at the end of, you know, fear me and worship me and you will have everything you want. And it's like, yeah, okay, this is exactly what women have been forced to buy into for centuries. And she says, actually, screw you, you have no power over me. And that just, and the bit where he kind of enchants her and she breaks out of that, and that there is, I think that is such an important aspect of kind of female development, that you can be tempted by all of these wonderful, beautiful, powerful males who promise you everything, and yet she's like, no, I know what I've got to do and I'm going to go and do it. And I love that. And also at the end, when she comes out and she's done it, she's won, she's resisted the Goblin King and kind of reconciled with the internal anima, and however you want to look at it, that she says, sometimes I don't know why, I will just need you, to those friends. And it's just like, it speaks to the geek in me so much that, you know, we have these things, these childhood things and these heroes and these I don't know, archetypical fairy tale characters that we need. We just need them, and that she acknowledges that. And they have this massive like party at the end, and it's like, yay, we can do this. You don't have to abandon everything you love when you go into adulthood, because, you know, adulthood sucks. And so I think as a kind of a psychological exploration, it's just genius. And also David Bowie. What more could you want?
World, you precious. Sing through your teeth. You've got to keep your teeth in.
He said, yes.
There's some brilliant characters in that.
Labyrinth comes up in quite a lot in our house, because you go, hello.
I said hello, but that's close enough. I love the little shaky, the little imp thing that moves around her
the titles.
I was thinking, that would be a brilliant little thing.
It's just, and Henson is just, he does the most beautiful things. And the Dark Crystal that I
Dark
adore.
Crystal also is
and I
fantastic.
dithered over whether to put that on the list.
That's made the list. Dark Crystal.
I think Dark Crystal's on the list, but Labyrinth wasn't yet.
The baby in Labyrinth is a little boy called Toby Froud.
Because Brian Froud was the artist, isn't it?
And they were like, oh, we need a baby. Here, have him.
So it's the sort of the guy who did all the conceptual art.
So it was nothing to do with going through an
Really
agency or anything. It was just like, well, I've got a child spare.
I've got a child spare.
That's for them to use. We won't have to worry about childcare because he'll be on set with us.
But there's some brilliant little cameos in there as well. Like Danny John Jules does the voices of two of the Fireys.
And I love the Fireys.
Yeah.
It's just such a beautiful film, and the great thing is that my little Bean is 6, and he's watched it twice now, and he calls me Sarah, and he changes who he is occasionally. Sometimes he's Sir Didymus, sometimes he's Ludo. It doesn't matter. But the thing that I really love about sitting and watching that with him is that he just enjoys it on a different level. Yeah. And that as he gets older it'll change, but that he is seeing a positive female character who is not sexualized in any way. And there are so few films that I can sit down with my son and say, look, there you go, this is what we're really like.
Derek, what are your thoughts on the Philip Pullman stuff, on his Dark Materials?
On Lyra?
Yeah.
Oh god, it's years since, I think I read them about 10 years ago. I don't know. I don't remember being particularly fond or particularly disliking her. I remember loving Will.
Yes, yeah.
I loved Will, and I wanted that knife so
who
bad.
didn't? Yeah.
But
especially because we lived in Oxford for ages.
And I lived in Oxford when I read them as well.
And it's just there because you know where it is, just on that bit of the perimeter road, and you wander there and go,
absolutely.
And then you go and sit on the bench in the botanical gardens.
Yeah, I was going to say the botanical gardens. Every time I walk past the botanical gardens, even now, that's what I think of.
Actually, because you went to Oxford University, didn't you?
Yeah. And so
when were you in Oxford?
94 to 98.
94 to that. Yeah, so that was just before we arrived in 2000.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might have been after I studied there that I read I can't remember when I read them. It was years ago because I know it was my friend lived in London at the time because I was in her flat. But yeah, I don't. To be honest, it's been so long since I've read them.
Fair enough.
That I can't remember.
According to Davy, Mrs. Coulter is a real lady who lives in North Oxford, and when Philip Pullman's son was at school, she was a very nasty person on the PTA.
Oh God.
So I wrote her into the book as a baddie.
Because a friend of ours went to school with Philip Pullman's son.
Oh, isn't there like a T-shirt that says something like "Be careful how you treat me, or else I'll kill you in my next book" or something like that? I like that.
I know. I mean, one of my friends from primary school, Michael, he wrote a book like last year, and he's writing the second one now. And I actually read through it. It's got all kind of references to my childhood. The evil guy is the teacher we didn't like. The nice teacher is the teacher we did like. Then the headmaster of the school is my headmaster from when I was at primary. So it's got all this. You read it and it's like, oh, that's what he thought of them, was it?
Yeah, that's a scary thing when you write, because when I was a teenager and I wrote this, I didn't even realise what it was at the time, but it was fanfic. I had no idea. There was no internet to tell me that this was fanfic. And I wrote this kind of Star Trek Next Gen novella. And we had a lodger at the house at the time, and she read it and said, "Oh yeah, well that's your dad, isn't it?" And I just imploded. It was like, oh my God, I did not know that was actually about me and my relationship with my father, and now I want to die. And I didn't let anyone read anything I had written for at least 5 years after that. So there's a really important lesson when you're a writer that has to happen at some point.
He deliberately did it, and they have the names. And he thinks he should do it as
when you don't
realise.
Should
send him a book. And,
yeah, when you don't realise and it kind of hits you like a kipper, that's horrible.
Yeah, that's fun.
Okay, so that's my first film.
Last film.
Oh no! I'm breaking into a sweat.
You can do it.
Oh, I can't. Look what the Terminator 2. No, I can't say all of them. Oh, I'm tempted by the Terminator 2, The Godfather, The African Queen, or Rambo. Left fielder there.
Yeah. Is it as in First Blood?
Yeah.
The first one.
The first one.
I love that first film.
Which is actually, the others are
brilliant.
shite. But the first one It's not what everyone expects. It's
I just
actually
think
really
one of
cool.
the greatest bits in that is when he goes, I just wanted something to eat.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it like tears your heart out.
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
Film.
I was not expecting it to be such an emotionally powerful
nor was
film.
I. No.
So-
and it is. It really is.
The Godfather or Terminator 2. The African Queen is beautiful and I love it and it makes me very happy. I think I'm going, oh God, Godfather or Terminator 2? Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
Back to my geek roots.
That's great.
So Terminator 2, the reason why I thought of that is not just because it's a damn tight film and I love it, and time travelling cyborgs trying to murder people, what's not to love?
It's a very different Sarah Connor to the first one.
That's one of the reasons I love the way that it is totally screwed her up.
Yeah.
And you see it.
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
see it, and what she did physically as an actress was so powerful, but just, you watch the first one and you think, holy crap, that is so cool. I really like that. That would really screw you up. And there you go.
Yeah.
So I loved that.
I like seeing films like that because when things happen in films and they do the next one and something unbelievable happens, but yet they're still completely normal.
Yeah,
Iron Man
absolutely.
3, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Iron Man 3 because he's there having panic attacks through it.
Yeah.
Because if all this stuff came through
I
and
love
it was
that.
down to you to save the world, you would
Yeah.
be a little bit
There'd be a point where you
nervous.
just
Yeah.
break and go,
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it. I loved that they did that.
Yeah, so
I went
Sarah
round about
Connor,
proper.
and you see that change. He's
It's fabulous. I love that. The other reason why that is an important film for me is that when I was younger, I was a real special effects nerd, and I was obsessed with the Indiana Jones films, mostly because of Harrison Ford, but also the films themselves. And I just consumed everything about all of the special effects and
I
other
used to
films
watch
in the
all
world.
special effects documentaries.
Yeah, and I loved that
I
stuff.
remember watching the one about the Terminator and how they did the liquid metal.
But
and
that's the
they
thing
were
that
turning
really-
into Robert Patrick. And
But the thing that really freaked me out was that when I went to the cinema at that age and I'd watch a film, I think, oh, they did that using that. And I was really chuffed that with like Back to the Future 2, I knew about the Vistaglide system and how they did it and all that kind of stuff. Proper nerd.
Yeah.
But then when I went to see Terminator 2, I sat there going, I don't know how they did that, because that was, for me, that was the leap forward in special effects. And I'd never seen anything that kind of, I don't know, computer generated.
Well, the one that blew me
I don't
away was
know.
The Matrix, when I first went to see that, and I was just sat there going, how on earth have they done that?
But the thing
I
was,
watched
the
all
Matrix.
the
Maybe that
special
should have gone
effects
in.
docs on that.
Yeah, with the Matrix, there was something so special about that film. There was nothing else like it, but there was nothing else that was so painfully cool that was
Indeed.
out there.
And it
it made up-
wrong.
I know what happened with the second one.
But it made up for the fact
lament.
that episode 1 came out that year. That was the only thing that saved that
Oh
year.
God! Oh God!
Simon had a Matrix phone.
I got
My
the
friend had a
original.
Matrix
Yeah,
phone, and
yeah.
I had all the envy. Yeah.
And I have a long coat.
The long coat, yeah, it gave us all a long coat fetish.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was such,
Anyway,
such
I
a
got
neat
to a load
film.
of Cyberpunk Live, so it
Yeah,
was made for me.
yeah. Yeah,
Years
absolutely.
later, people were saying, "Who do you think you are, Neo?"
Oh,
Next change to everybody used to call me the Undertaker when I was at school.
God. So there we go. I think that's
Terminator.
5, isn't it? Terminator
That's
2.
fine.
With a couple of name drops.
With a couple of
I sneaked in a
We know
couple
what
of
the
them.
rest of them are.
Yeah. So yes,
Cool.
I implore you to go and watch all the others.
Thank you for filling out some more of the
That
list
was
there.
really hard.
It is, it's really
Difficult,
tough.
isn't it?
As
Even with cheating.
It's putting people on the spot as well. You just kind of go, oh, a thing that comes off the top of my head, and it's
it's-
difficult.
Because AD dropped that on us live on the
Yeah,
show. So
yeah.
it's mid-episode. He said, "How about this?" And we're just like, "Crap."
I was like, oh my god! And then he'd said like 2 of my favourite films, and I was like, oh damn you!
And I found that as soon as you start saying one film, your
It
mind goes down
leads
that
you down a
genre.
track.
Yeah.
So I said Heathers, because Heathers is just.
Oh my God, I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
And then I went down to the volume and Empire Records.
Yeah.
Have you seen Harvey? Which is obviously an alphabet thing. There's Harvey. No, there's a big difference there. It's a really old Jimmy Stewart film.
Is that the
with
bunny rabbit?
the guy with the
Yeah.
imagines the rabbit? It's
Yeah.
so
We
beautiful.
saw it once
Beautiful.
when we went punting. There was a load of guys dressed in suits and
one's
a
a bunny
7-foot
rabbit, yeah.
white rabbit in a punt in Oxford. I think it's something about the Chilwell boathouse that
Well,
people
yeah.
there. and
Admittedly,
man's
we were
hats.
all
Yeah.
we were all dressed as either pirates or gentry, and we were going punting.
It's
Pirate
like
punting.
one of my favourite trips into Oxford was when I was dressed as the Princess of Liechtenstein for a live game that I was in full Victorian regalia with my partner at the time, who was dressed as a Napoleonic general. standing to attention on the bus going into Oxford.
Brilliant.
It's like, yeah, I love this city. You can do that
People
here.
kind of look at you and kind of look that
Yeah,
way.
it's all
And then all the
British
Japanese tourists.
Yeah.
We've got the same one.
We went on a stag night to Nottingham to our Japanese tourists, and we went to the Tales of Robin Hood. And we were all laughers, so we were all in complete medieval kit, walking down past the castle, and there's a row of Japanese tourists, and they all stop and they're taking photos of us all in that kit. All in that.
It's not
Brilliant.
beyond the realms of reason in Oxford that you could be filming. And a lot of people
Absolutely.
think that you are part of the
But
film.
that was
when
the
you do
thing
it.
that Kate did at the weekend, was that it was in this place called Gough Square in London where the character was shot. And she said afterwards that all of the crew just were posted on the various entrances into the square, and if anyone came near they said, we're students, we're filming, can we ask you to go around? And there was a point when they were let into a building to plant some information, but they couldn't work out how to use the key card because they borrowed it from one of the others, and this builder let them in. It's like, oh, you use it like this, and they were like, we could have just been there nicking computer equipment. All we have to say is that we're students filming, so if you ever want to murder anybody
Say you're a
or
student
nick something,
filming.
say you're a
Marvellous.
student filming, and everyone just goes, okay, and then walks in the other direction.
That's you heard it here first,
You
folks.
heard it here first. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Oh no, I've done something to I've unleashed evil into the world.
You created a monster.
Well, it's the Dark Nerd Rising, isn't it?
Dark Nerd Rising,
There we
that's what
go.
it is, yeah.
When I first moved to Oxford, I just stopped being a student. So, all this kind of, you can't get into certain colleges and you can't do this and that and the other. Well,
Yeah.
I could just walk in and no one would bat an eyelid because you're just one of 1,000 others.
Yeah.
I won't be able to get away
You
with
can't
it
do
these
it
days.
now, because I went back to visit a few months ago to do research for book 3, and we went back to Lincoln, which was Kate's college. And the last time I tried to enter a college was like in the late 90s, and you literally could just walk in and out. But they had full security barriers and cameras, and I was like, oh my god, it's changed so much just in like 10 years. Really
I
scary.
thought you might be going to Oxford eventually because you've got one mention in the first book of Oxford and it having a parallel, and then it isn't mentioned anywhere else in the book.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe that would be a future expansion.
Yeah,
coming
Emma's
up.
finished the first one. I'm halfway through the first one, and then we're going to get the second one.
It's really interesting because you were saying about strong female characters, and obviously she is a very, very strong female
Yeah, because that's what
character.
you said to me when we were talking about it earlier on.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so. That was something I was really nervous about when I was writing it, because there are obvious feminist themes in the books.
Yes.
And I really didn't want to screw her up. And yeah, making sure that she had something really hard to deal with. The patriarchal structure of the Nether is so hard that it was quite a challenge making
Kind of
sure
even
that she
worse
could
for
still
her than
act.
other people as well,
Yeah.
because of her father.
Her father and also, yeah, because I don't want to spoil it too much, but also that she's tasted the real world and has tasted freedom, a genuine freedom that does not exist for all of the other women that she's ever known. So, yeah, I'm glad I'm glad you think she's strong, because I really worked on that.
No, she very, very much is. And I just love the fact that, she quite often gets the power taken away and like the ending, and, she's done such a great job and
Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
No, exactly. She does
Wow, really,
she
yeah.
done such a great job and
And
still.
that was the thing, there are various scenes where, the power is totally taken away from her, and I was thinking, okay, I don't want to fall into the same trap that I think I was moaning at you about before we started recording, of how in so many things, in games, in films in particular, the female character is there to fall in love with, or to rescue, or to fight for, or die. They're not actual characters, they're not actual people, they're
Plot
mechanisms.
devices.
Yeah, exactly, and it pisses me off.
Yeah.
That's actually what really bugs me about the True Blood series. So if you read Sookie Stackhouse novels, she gets herself out the poo.
Right.
And if she's done over, she says, well, I don't want to date you anymore, go away. I'm very quite strong female character. And then they take it in the TV show, and all of a sudden she can't do anything for herself.
Yeah.
These male vampire lovers have to come in and save her from a situation. And that really bugs me. And in fact, I've read all the series all the way through now, and all the way through she's a powerful female character. But in the TV series, it's generally around, is it Team Eric or Team Bill?
Yeah, and the whole love triangle. Oh, I'm so bored of love triangles. Oh my god.
between two vampires or a vampire and a werewolf.
Yeah. I watched the first 3 and a bit seasons of True Blood. I didn't like what they did with the Fae in the TV show, and it turned me off.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because I love how you treat the Fae in these books, because that's very much the way that I kind of thought of them, and that's how we portrayed them in our role playing shows.
Absolutely.
Kind of slightly distant, a bit malicious, a bit mischievous.
But they humanise them, and in your books it doesn't seem that they don't live by human rules. They don't have anything to do.
No.
They're a kind of a distraction. You can play with them, but why would they bother really?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a lot of reading Irish mythology, I think.
Yeah.
With the Sidhe.
The Sidhe and the fair folk.
And they are just terrifying. And fairy tales, like proper old fairy tales, which are horrifically gruesome and wonderful, and I love them because they're so dark and horrible. And in those tales, the Fae are evil. Well, I wouldn't even say evil. Not evil in the way that we conceptualise evil. They are forces of nature, and they don't give a shit about little tiny human beings because we're insignificant specks. And that I loved playing with that in the Split Worlds.
Yeah.
But I think that also partly emerged from a lot of vampire role playing in the 90s.
Good old White Wolf.
Good old White Wolf Masquerade. How many hours of my life did we live role play
my
vampire?
Malkavian, who went off to Fae quite with alarming frequency.
The thing that I loved about that is there was a lot of political machinations, and they were terrifying. And certainly in the games that I played, which had some fantastic GMs who were terrifying, and I was seriously terrified in several of those sessions. I loved that kind of all-powerful figure that really would just mess around with people for sport, because they live forever and they are bored, and and also the Greek myths. I loved the Greek myths as a kid, so I think Irish mythology, Greek mythology, and vampire games in the 90s all kind of coalesced into the Fae of the Split Worlds. So and I want them to be scary.
It's the Disney idea that you want a fairy to come along and sort your dress out and to go to the ball.
Yeah, that does my head in.
You don't. In a lot of the things I read, you don't want to have anything to do with
exactly, and that's why I put that into the first book, where he says, "Doesn't every girl dream of being Cinderella?" And she says, "Well, no." I'm like, "No, I never did. I never wanted to be Cinderella, thank you, because that would suck." And so that's one of the things I like about Kathy, is that she didn't want all of that, and all of those things that we are told as women that we want.
Yes.
Like, no. I really want to say a very
like
rude word.
This magazine, be like this.
Exactly. This is
body
what you
shape.
want. This is what you care about.
This
no,
is
it
the
isn't
perfect
actually.
Skin colour and
Yeah, exactly. We will tell you what to be worried about, so that you can't actually work on important things like self-development and self-actualization. Well, screw you.
That's the reason why I bring up Megan the way that I do.
Yeah.
Is because I would despise her to ever do that.
Yeah.
And there's some girls in her class who do the cheerleading, and they're like mini tarts, and they have all this lipstick and fake eyelashes and things like that. And to actually bring your daughter up to say that this is an ideal of how women should be with little crop tops and things, it's not good.
No. I am all for every woman doing whatever the hell she wants.
Yes.
But doing what the hell she wants because she wants to, not because she's been brainwashed by the media to think that is the ideal to aspire to. So I'm totally with you with the whole idealised thing. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I'm very mindful of raising my son, that he will come home and just say stuff that he's absorbed from other kids or from teaching, like, oh, girls can't do that. And it's like, actually, where did you get that?
She's like, oh, that's a boy's colour, that's a girl's colour, and we're like, no, that doesn't work.
Absolutely.
Have you ever really looked at an Argos catalogue page in the toys section?
It's just...
It's pink behind the toys for girls.
It's horrific. It's the stuff they're doing these days with the genderisation of toys and all that kind of... Oh my God.
It didn't happen in the 80s.
No, it didn't. It didn't. And I never thought that I would look back at the 80s as like a time that was great for... What? What?
Thundercats and stuff like that. It was awesome.
I know, but but I mean, come on, it wasn't that great, because I was always the one that had to be Chitara. Oh, for God's sake. Anyway, I could be Princess Leia, but that was brilliant because Princess Leia kicks ass.
What's your opinion of Chitara, darling?
What?
So you normally just say that she is the Thundercat code.
It's like when they all wanted to play Thundercats, so you've got to be Chitara. Well, no, I think I want to be Lion-O, actually. You can't because you're a girl. But I was the only girl who played with Ben. Yeah, Tila was okay, I suppose. I quite liked being She-Ra actually because you have a great big sword.
But she had a bow.
Yeah,
But she had to have a love interest, didn't she?
Oh, I know. They always screw it. They constantly screwed it up. But I think things are getting worse now.
Yeah.
And I was watching. Oh God, I can't remember what it was. Was it Justice League? Young Justice? I can't remember.
Oh, is
anyway,
it the Batman Brave and the Bold, the Justice League?
No, it was one which had a green. Oh, I saw it in passing. They had a scene where they had various young superheroes at the beach, and there was a girl who's a Martian. I think she's green.
Such a Martian Manhunter young version of.
Yeah, some kind of but a girl, and the way that it was drawn was so sexualized, and I was thinking, whoa.
Well, they did that with the new Teen Titans when they rebooted it for the New 52. So the comics, apparently they took a lot of the kind of teenage girl superheroes and really tarted them up, and there were a lot of complaints because a lot of people said, is it Starfire? I don't know, the character's name was like, she used to be a role model for kids and then she just turned into this something.
There's this fabulous Tumblr called Repair Her Armor. Have you seen it? I hope it's called Repair Her Armor. And it has pictures of various. Yeah, so what they've done is they fixed their superhero costumes so that they coloured in the boot windows
and
their trousers and practical stuff.
Yeah,
It's like that
fantastic.
looks so cool.
Yeah.
There's another one reversed with the Avengers.
With Hawkeye.
Where all the boys are in the position that
yes.
the girls
Well,
are.
I've seen the
The Hawkeye initiative,
where they show the girls
Yeah.
always shot from behind so you can see the bum
It's like
and they show all the men
Emma
like
Frost
that.
pose and Hawkeye in the Emma Frost pose. Yeah, that's great. I love that. The Hawkeye
you're looking at that, you see how used to you are for women to be positioned in a sexual position and men to stand there looking I'm buff.
Yeah.
And when you reverse it, it looks so wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've been planning our some cosplay stuff for the Sci-Fi Weekender for next year, and I think what we're planning on doing is steampunk versions of DC superheroes. So that's our plan for next year. It's the Justice League of Queen and Country.
That's so cool.
So that's what we're going for next year.
I love that. I love steampunk versions and I love gender switching in cosplay.
Did you
Just
see?
makes me so happy.
Because you've been to Sci-Fi Weekender a few times, haven't you?
Twice, yeah.
Twice, yeah. Because I think it wasn't the year just gone; it was the year before. There was the 12 female Doctor cross plays.
I didn't see that.
All 12. Was it all 12? Or was that 11? All 11 Doctors cross played last year.
Oh my God.
That was brilliant.
And they got a
I love
photo
that.
with Colin
Was
Baker
it
as well.
Colin Baker, yeah.
Did a photo with them too.
Yeah, because that was the
That's
year
so
Colin
cool.
Baker and Sylvester McCoy.
There's been some wonderful Avengers Assemble gender switch costumes that have come out of the States.
It's the same, and the same girls did the Doctor Who stuff last year.
Yeah.
Did
The Avengers
Did they?
this year.
Oh,
yeah.
I
So
missed
there was,
that
there was
too.
a whole Avengers crossplay there.
Oh,
this
I
year.
love that stuff.
There was a girl in the States on one that I saw from American friends of mine on Facebook where the best Matt Smith was a girl. Absolutely perfect, look dead on. But yeah, out of all the Matt Smiths, she was the best.
Are you going back to Sci-Fi Weekend next year?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to cosplay because I cosplayed the first one I went to.
You did have photos.
Yeah.
Fun. And the people
was
in
very
the
good
line
fun.
to register are so friendly. You can meet so many people in that line.
That line, the first, the Sci-Fi Weekender 3 one, the line of death, where I think I queued for 3.5 hours in sub-zero temperatures to get in because I wasn't I didn't have my Angry Robot deal or anything. I was just there as me, so I didn't have you're an author pass.
It was
Oh my God, it was so
much
awful.
better this year.
It was
than
really,
was
really
last
good.
year.
But the good thing about that awful line of death was that I made 2 friends
Yeah,
in
the
the queue.
camaraderie. Yeah.
And there was this lady, I
ended
think
up
her name's Anne, she had some Tic Tacs that saved my life. Because we
You
didn't
went to the
have any
Brady
friends.
mission for Strongbow for me.
Yeah. And then we came back and we're drinking cider in the queue.
I've been here 3 hours. I drove all the way here. I need
Doesn't mean I'd driven for 5 hours.
Yeah. I think we were 5 or 6 hours from Oxford to there.
Yeah.
When we'd done all that and we queued and then we went in the houses and they were really
It was
cold.
gulag.
And the floor had all dust all the way around it. Went in the bathroom and there was a present in the loo.
Oh no.
And I did all of that, and then I ended up getting a dodgy stomach from eating the food, and I was like, where the hell have we come?
Yeah,
why are we here?
doing this?
You made the mistake of actually eating from the cafeteria when we got there.
Yeah.
We did on the first night.
Yeah, Emma did on the first night. I was just like, no, there's a pre-packed sandwich there. Just got to have it. That's fine. That'll do. I'll go with that. So I'm not touching anything that's coming from that
So then
kitchen.
I said, right, that's it. We're never ever going again. Never ever.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, but we're going to go to Haven. I went, oh, all right then.
Yeah.
And it was great. This year was amazing.
There were so many, other reasons to go that even, really awful experiences like the accommodation really do pale. I mean, you look back and you laugh about it. You think, oh, do you remember when we survived that gulag in?
But I was going to bring Megan, and I didn't want to put Megan in the
But the Haven caravan I had was so cold. I think
Did
I
you
got
turn
about
the
3
heating
hours
on?
sleep. I did turn the heating on.
On the heat.
Because there was an extra switch.
Was there an extra?
we
There
found-
was storage
No, there's-
heaters.
Yeah,
there was an
that was the
isolator,
isolator switch
and
that
there
you
was a
turned
switch on the
Well,
heater
nobody
as well.
told me about the magical switch.
No
Oh
one
my
told you.
god, this is like a bloody role-playing game. Oh, you went into that room and died. Did you not notice that
You
the
failed your
trap?
spot
Yeah,
check.
I did. I failed my. Oh, I suck.
Because it was cold.
died.
Everyone said,
I
it was
died of
freezing. And we keep saying to people,
We're
well,
like,
did you
we're
turn the
boiling
heater
up.
on?
Because the heaters would come on for a while and then they would run out because they're storage heaters. So like it would get to 2 o'clock in the morning and I thought I was going to
Yeah, I think
die.
it might be slightly different because we had convection heaters
Oh,
rather
we
than
did.
storage heaters, so we had fan heaters in both the rooms.
Okay. I mean, it was a gorgeous caravan. It was like, huge and
Oh, yeah,
great,
lovely.
just
Yeah,
really
yeah,
bloody
nice.
cold.
Everyone says it. But the poor guy, right, who was it Dr. Manhattan? And he was
Oh, the guy was
just
dressed like
wearing
Manhattan. He was just wearing
Speedos.
Speedos. Yeah.
Now, respect though,
Painted
really.
himself blue.
He
Yeah.
suffered for his art.
He did. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, I came up with this while I was sat at home in a nice warm room.
Didn't think he'd be parading around.
Didn't
in
think that through.
-2
Yeah.
degrees.
It
In the
was
middle
so
of
cold,
Wales,
wasn't
yeah.
it? It
oh,
was
it was
so
freezing.
cold.
Yeah, because we walked across to the mash and barrel, and one night we were just like, this is too cold, and just going back now.
Yeah, it was really
But now because
brutally
they're
cold.
moving now
Not
to
as
rise at
cold
the end of March.
Yeah.
Not as cold as the snow in 3.
Yeah, there was snow, wasn't there,
Oh,
on the
well,
last day, having to travel
don't.
back.
When we came back, our car died on the
It's-
way back.
yeah,
it took us
snowpocalypse.
over 13 hours to get back
Oh my
from
God.
there with a broken car. It cost us like £500 to get
£500.
towed and £500 to fix it. And I was
no,
like,
that's
I just got
awful.
back and I was like, I'm going to bed.
Oh.
No.
But there was such a nice weekend. In other respects, it was worth it. I mean, one of the things we love to do more than anything is mow, isn't it?
Oh yes.
And what better fodder?
Stalingrad.
Yes.
It was great taking Megan because, you become slightly different. Well, she was a kid and everyone's like, oh, look, it's a child. Oh, it's lovely. And then, on the Saturday, she ended up kind of performing on stage.
Oh yeah, she was up with Professor Elemental and with Robert Rankin.
This Saturday?
Yeah.
Was that?
That's Megan, yeah.
Oh, were you the one who was up on the stage with Professor? That's so cool.
Yeah.
You were ace.
Yeah. She's done it again.
that.
She's done it again since then because we went to see
so cool.
Professor Elemental in Brighton a couple of weeks ago, and she got up on stage there again and did exactly the same thing
Oh,
again.
hey, I'm quite starstruck actually. That's
Megan,
really cool.
Megan, you got a
Hey,
fan.
Megan. The tablet is so much more interesting, and that's exactly the way
It's
it should
Plants
be.
vs Zombies.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, really, I'm not going to compete with that. But the other thing that was lovely about that was Dalek Jane,
Yes.
and I found her
Jane
on Facebook.
Hamner.
Yeah, I found her on Facebook afterwards, and I was just like, "Where's Dalek Jane?" I was so excited, and now we're
A
friends on
gentle
Facebook.
whisking.
Yeah, it was so wonderful. I loved her dress so much. So, and now we're friends on Facebook and Twitter, and that's the thing that I love about this community is that you meet people in real life, then you find them online.
Yeah.
You find people online, you meet them in real life, and it's all just this heady, wonderful social blend of our people. And
Yeah.
you spend every day of like normal life with people who are not geeks, and it's hard work, quite frankly. And to be able to go and fully immerse.
It's brilliant. We
Oh,
love
I love
it.
it.
We went to the Geek Meet a couple of weeks ago in Birmingham, and that was fantastic.
I really wanted to go to that, but I couldn't go to that.
It was really good fun. It was just a nice, chilled out afternoon of playing cards and drinking tea and chatting. It was.
And then
Yeah.
people mentioned
And then
the
everyone-
comic shop.
And then we heard there was a comic shop round the corner, so me and him trooped off and came back like, oh God, what have I just done? Back issues of
Everyone
this.
had little white bags.
New
going.
sonic screwdriver, new 50th anniversary wallet. It was like, oh God, what have I done?
But I had to.
Yeah.
I just had to.
I said to him, look, you have a wallet, why haven't you got another one? He said, well, my wallet will wear out eventually.
Yes. I've just got my husband a really nice Batman wallet. which has got like a plain outside and then a bright inside. It's very similar. But it's got like little kind of embossed bats on the outside, which are very subtle, and then inside it's got a bright blue with yellow bat.
I love this because when you go
great.
at Jean Grey, it actually matches up with my HSBC card. Sorry, for the benefit of the tape, you're not going to be able to see that. I'll try and get a picture of it on the podcast.
I love that kind of stuff. And also, I mean, this is exactly why I love these geek meets and the conventions and stuff. Is there anywhere else apart from fellow geeks where you could have that and we would all go, oh, that's so cool. You know, I can imagine my family just kind of looking at it, tumbleweed.
What's the point?
Yeah. You just don't understand.
The first sci-fi weekend that we went to, on my way in, I got hooked by a Wookiee.
Yes,
which
you did,
made my weekend.
That made my weekend as well.
Did you find it stressful though, seeing the stormtroopers? I found that quite stressful. I was quite scared of them. It was like deeply ingrained from childhood.
It was when they started quizzing Megan about whether she was a princess or not.
First time I met those guys, I was in the queue and they were going around shooting people in the queue. And I was just like,
this is just not British, really, is it? Shooting people as they queue.
I got so anxious. I was like, don't look at me, don't look at me.
Yeah.
But then I met the Wookiee. I got a hug off the Wookiee and I was just like, oh yeah, peace out.
That's it.
It's all going to be okay now.
And then we filmed with them the weekend before. So.
Yeah, it is odd. There was a like local park where I live. There's a little park, and every year they have this little festival. And this year they had Star Wars cosplay people who came to raise money for Air Ambulance. So you'd make a donation, then your kids could have your pictures taken with them. And I'm not entirely sure whether my son realises they were people dressed up, because he's at that age where he still believes. So he's got this little bear which is dressed as a Jedi. And he took it along, and it plays the Star Wars theme when you press the paw, and It's all desperately cute. And there were 3 guys dressed as Jedis, and they all beamed when they saw his bear, and they were like, that's a cool bear, and he was like glowing, and I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So I had his picture taken with them. And then there were stormtroopers on a Darth Vader, and I thought, well, is he going to want to go at something? And I said, do you want your picture taken with him? And yes, Darth Vader. It's like, okay, braver than I was at 6. So he goes and stands with him. And afterwards he was talking about how heavy Darth Vader's hands were on his shoulders and things like that. And it's just so nice, you know, they have these experiences.
My little brother was born in '81, and when he was about 2 or 3, we took him to, was it the M6 Cash and Carry, where there happened to be Vader there for the day to promote the new Star Wars toys because a new film had come out. And the poor boy nearly died.
It was
proper Vader, you know.
I met him as the Green Cross Code man.
So did I. He came to my school.
Yeah, he came to my school too.
Yeah, and did you answer a question and he threw a badge at you?
Yeah.
Oh, right, well, we're probably bonded now. We have both had a badge thrown at us by the Green Cross Code man. That's
I feel
so cool.
left out.
He used to do that thing when he would twitch his biceps.
Yeah. I don't feel nearly as special now, though. There's probably hundreds of kids all over. Yeah, I had the badge thrown at me by the
Childhood
Yeah, no.
The first time I met Vader, he was in a queue in the canteen at SFX Weekend of 3. Got to the front of the queue and he did the whole Eddie Izzard sketch. He went, this tray is wet. This tray is wet. I was at a table, was watching Vader. It was brilliant.
Oh, that's cool.
But no one threw a badge at me.
Oh, there you go. You see, you've just not been in the right circles.
No.
Had the Green Cross Code man.
Yeah, that's what he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was, yeah. Yes.
To draw a couple of the threads together, I have to ask you about the podcast, because on your podcast, I love it. It's hilarious.
Absolutely.
It cheers up my Fridays.
And I've moved it to bi-weekly because I realised it was going to kill me
I saw you
doing it every week.
It takes a lot of work.
We made the choice straight away.
Straight away. Well,
Yeah.
originally I think we were going to do it monthly, and then we were just like, right, no, we can manage fortnightly with this, and then we occasionally have kind of things in the off week. But we absolutely love it. It's great. It sounds like it is a lot of hard work to prepare.
It is, yeah.
I noticed that there were, I have to ask, was it a Professor Elemental reference in the last one about the airship?
Yes, a hopeful Professor Elemental reference.
A hopeful one.
Yeah, well, I'm a huge fan of Professor Elemental, and he's a lovely chap, and we correspond.
He is, yes, yeah. We've spoken to him a few times, and he let us use some of his music on one of our earlier podcasts. As soon as we can arrange for it to happen, he's coming on the show. So
it's fantastic. Because we've talked about doing things in the future which I really hope will happen, but we're both so absurdly busy.
Oh, yeah.
We see each other at events, we're like, oh, let's do this, and then we go away and have our things. But the thing I've came across him, like many people, with Fighting Trousers, and then I went to his site to buy the album, and I wrote a letter accompanying like the PayPal code in Victorian kind of steampunk speak. And he emailed back and said, oh, I've looked you up online and you're a writer. Do you want to do a creative swap? Because I love those. So I sent him my short story collection, because this is before Split Worlds, in return for the album. So I bought the album for my friend, and then we did an exchange. And he's just such a genuinely lovely
absolutely
bloke.
Lovely.
And so funny, so witty, and so quick.
Yeah.
I did a workshop at Waltz on the Wye last year, a chap hop workshop with him, and he said at various points how anyone can do it and it's really easy, and I was thinking, yeah, but you're just bloody good at it. And it's there aren't that many people who can be that good.
I love the bit in his show where he basically gets everyone to hold up objects, and then he does that as a rap, and that's absolute genius.
He is a very, very talented, lovely bloke.
I keep meaning to ask him if I can
world.
remix Fighting Trousers. I want to do an industrial remix of Fighting Trousers.
That's so cool. Speaking of which, I have heard tell that there will be a new Nine Inch Nails album, and I'm very excited.
There is indeed, yes. Have you heard his How to Destroy Angels stuff?
No, I haven't.
You must listen to How to Destroy Angels. That's him and his wife, and it's very kind of fixed, broken era Nine Inch Nails with female vocals. It's stunning.
The video for the songs is...
Yeah, the spaces in between.
It's kind of like film quality.
Check out How to Destroy Angels. It's amazing.
It's really good. I think I remixed The Drowning for my MIDI assignment for my degree.
I listened to, was it Downward Spiral and Pretty Hate Machine, on loop for significant portions of my student life, as many in our generation did.
Yes.
And a walk down the aisle to a warm place.
Nice. Yeah, that and Trouble Gun by Therapy. Oh my god, that's such a great album.
It is,
I listened to that when I sew, and Astro Creep 2000, White Zombie. Damn. That is just, oh god, I love that. Driving music and sewing music. Though I do drive too fast if I listen to it, so I had to be careful.
Creep through the wheel.
Oh my god. And when I didn't realise where the samples came from, and when I saw the film, is it Omega Man some of the samples come from? Does he have the marks? Do you see them? And he said them, and I was like, what the? Like totally geeking out about that they were samples on one of my favourite albums, and I'd never known where they came from. Oh, I love those. But yeah, my husband was talking about how I always have to turn the music off when they come in with my son when I'm sewing, because I listen to like really angry, violent music when I'm there on my sewing machine. He's like, that doesn't fit,
What do you sew?
I sew all the clothes I wear at conventions. So at the moment I'm sewing for a convention I'm going to in 2 weeks' time in the States called Convergence, which I'm very, very excited about. And so I make outfits because I used to make stuff when I was at university.
I make a lot of stuff for LARP and
for LARP and just because I can't
Harry
find
Potter robes and stuff.
Yeah, you can't find what you want, and also because of my shape, because I have a womanly shape, I have womanly curves. I can't find anything in shops. So, and it's all boring anyway.
So most tops you go, it fits there, it fits
and it doesn't fit there.
What? I have those?
Yeah.
They've got to go somewhere.
Yeah, exactly, because I have a waist and hips that are defined, so, obviously that is not fashionable.
No.
So I can't find anything, so I make my own stuff, and White Zombie and Therapy and Nine Inch Nails are perfect sewing albums.
I used to do a cover of Scream Major and Die Laughing in bands when I was about 15, 16.
Nice.
I remember a particularly harrowing one where we were doing an outdoor kind of festival gig. And
in that toilet-looking thing.
Yeah, in the toilet-looking thing, Whitehaven, And my distortion pedal was basically blowing the speakers, so they went, don't use it. So I had to play a version of Scream Major with no distortion. It sounded like I was playing it on a banjo. So imagine Therapy on a banjo, and that's fairly close to what it sounded like that day.
Oh dear.
That's what somebody probably end up doing ukulele covers of it, I imagine.
Yes, absolutely.
Amanda Palmer on occasion.
we need to get our sewing machine out, and I need to
It's there.
have a good practice.
I'll teach you how to use it.
The problem is that material shops are dying. of death
Oh,
on the
they
high
are.
street.
It's so hard. But
The one in
but,
Wallingford's amazing.
there's a road in London called Gold Hawk Road, and I never knew that it existed. And Kate, the amazing Kate, who I keep talking about, took me there, and it's like all of the fabric shops you could possibly want. And it's a tube stop, Gold Hawk Road. So if you ever need to go to London, I thoroughly recommend. And they have like, I don't know, 10 fabric shops all next door to each other. It's like Soho but cheaper.
It's King's Fabrics in
King's Fabrics.
Oxford.
It
Well,
died,
yeah,
it died,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
used to go
and
there
now
all
it's
the
Tiger Lily.
That's
time.
Tiger Lily now, because Tiger Lily, well, I don't know if Tiger Lily was around when you were in Oxford.
No,
It's an
I don't
alternative
know.
shop just opposite County Hall. You know, there's 3 or 4
Oh,
shops just there.
vaguely remember
There's a
it.
place in St Aldate's, though. There's a fabric shop in St Aldate's.
Sorry?
There's a fabric shop in St Aldate's.
Is there? Is it a useful fabric shop
Well,
or just pure?
the one in Wallingford's amazing that I got all the stuff for the Harry Potter robes from. That's a fantastic one in Wallingford.
But there's the thing, you have to really, really hunt, and it's no good buying it online because you can't see it and you can't feel it. So yeah, it's a
Exactly.
real problem. There's also a massive fabric warehouse, but I couldn't tell you where it is, which is utterly useless. But I have heard tell of this mythical place.
Legend speaks.
Yes. But it only
warehouse.
appears when there's a dark moon, or if you're wearing a purple hat. I don't know, but it does
Send
exist
price
because I've been there.
You'll see it.
Yeah. Yes. You have to carry 3 silver bobbins in your pocket and 1 gold needle. But no, it's
You don't
it's
find
brilliant.
it finds you.
Yes. Yes. Oh, you've been there. It's a wonderful place, isn't it? But oh my God, talking of anxiety and stuff like that, I get kind of massive decision paralysis in fabric shops. So I'll see like things that I want to get, and then it'd be like, oh, and it's great going with Kate because she understands this. So we'll just kind of like have a little huddle and close like too much sensory information. I need to just think.
I get very suspicious looks when I go in a fabric shop because I'm not the kind of person that looks like they should be going in a fabric shop. And I'm kind of wandering around looking at stuff and kind of weighing up fabrics over one or the other and going, well, yeah, I'm mentally noting I want 3 meters of that, and I'll wander up to the counter and
Should
I'll
have a
order it. And
heavier
just kind of looking at me
gauge.
suspiciously like, what are you doing here?
I love that. You should do that more. Just on general principle, we have to shake up these stereotypes.
But then eventually they got around to asking me, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm making Harry Potter robes with all that. And they were like, oh, marvellous, cool. Well, we're gonna... Then it changed, but yeah, it was just this utter suspicion. Why is this man wandering around the shop?
I think they used
Looks
to now.
dubious. Yeah, that they used to be now. I was like, you want more of that now in more black? Yes, please.
Ran out of black. Need more.
Never had too much black fabric. I got this beautiful black brocade from this fabled warehouse, which I'm going to have to make something quite spectacular out of. It's very, very nice. But sometimes I find fabric, and I think I've got to get it because it is the most beautiful fabric I've ever seen. But then I can't decide what I'm going to make with it, so it'll sit in the chest for like 5 years. And the stuff I'm making at the moment was fabric that was very much like that. It was beautiful, had to get it, didn't know what to make with it, and finally something has emerged that I can make. But yeah.
It kind of starts taking over your house. I mean, I've got a wall box like that, and I haven't
Yeah.
even started on fabric.
Well, because
Yeah.
you've got all your little knitted people. Emma does knitted people.
I can't do knitting. I have such respect for knitters because I've never been able to do
I
it.
knitted
She
him.
gave me a knitted me for my birthday, plus in my Cyberdog gear, so it's like my Cyberdog t-shirt, and it has a trench coat, and it has a backpack with a little knitted laptop in
Oh, I
it.
love it! I love it! I love it!
I've been making witches and ghosts and doing witches and ghosts. And I'm like, well, it's all kind of a formula with
Yeah.
different bits and altered to a certain way. So it's like, well, how difficult would it be to go off pattern? So I'll do them like little cyber dogs and little, and it has a little scrolling LED top, which obviously doesn't scroll, it just looks a bit red.
It's just a black
And
with a red.
Yeah, and then I started going, well, I'll try a trench coat and start going on that. And I'm like, well, sure your backpack can't be too different. And then Megan said, but I want a baby me as well.
Oh,
So I had to knit a
There's the
cut
few
down
things I'm
version.
never without. I always have my
Are you going to-
backpack with laptops.
cool. Are you going to 9 Worlds?
No.
Because 9 Worlds has got a knitting track.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the whole geek knitting thing is massive.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely massive.
Carol that we know
Stitch
is
and
the
Bitch
best
Nights, yeah.
best knitter in the universe, and she
Yeah.
does these amazing kind of flame hoodies. And
Oh,
all sorts.
I wish I could knit. The thing I love about knitting is that you're like making fabric, and like when I sew, I can make things out of fabric, but the fabric already exists. And there's something that really appeals to me about making like that two-dimensional thing that other stuff could be made out. I really like that conceptually.
Well, I like making little people and little toys because you can do it in a couple of hours and then it's over and done with. I mean, a jumper, I think I might get bored kind of going across. If you only actually have to do about 40 stitches
Yeah.
to make a person, then it doesn't bore you so much.
Yeah.
Try with the mouse. You can do one of those in an hour.
I've tried so many times, but I think what happened was that my mum tried to. Oh, I won't tell you about that. You will never know.
It's fine. I was just thinking, we've covered twice as much stuff as I thought we were going to, and half of what I intended to, as is the way it normally happens.
Well, are there any burning questions? Or?
Well, it's not really burning questions. So I was just interested in books 1 and 2 of Split Worlds are out now, are they?
Yes, they are.
So,
yes.
Yeah, book 2, did that just come out, or was that?
It has.
Yeah.
I think last week in the UK, or maybe the week before. I don't know. It all blurs into one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you're working on book 3 now.
Book 3's done.
Oh, is it done?
Yeah, it's all done, and it's coming out in October. So it's 3 in 1 year.
Yeah, that's been really quick work.
Insane.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Mind you did a story a day.
Yeah, for a year, a story per week for a year and a day. So there's 50. I think it comes to 55 in total because of the way the dates worked out, which are free online. But yeah, the novels, because I was originally going to self-publish, and it was always my plan to bring them out quickly because I hate waiting for books. So I thought, well, if I hate waiting, why would I make other
Release a
people
trilogy
wait?
all at once.
Yeah, exactly. And
Wasn't that how
first book-
Stieg Larsson sent in all his Millennium stuff? He sent all of that in as a trilogy, but unfortunately died before they got published.
Oh, yeah.
All the Girl's Dragon
Dragon
Tattoo,
Tattoo,
all
yeah.
that. He basically sent all those 3 in as a trilogy, and then they didn't get picked up until after he died.
Blimey.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
But no, that was that's what. And then Angry Robot were like, yeah, cool, because the first book was it had already gone through beta readers and everything, and the first draft of book 2 had already been written when I signed the contract. So it just left book 3 and short stories to write.
Awesome.
So.
Because you're reading the other one at the moment, are you? The 20 years later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah yes, my YA, which I wrote like 6 years ago. I wish I could go and give that a damn good edit. I think every writer has this, that their very first book. Because I've written 6 books since that one. Because the 20 years later, books 2 and 3 are written and are sitting on my computer. I've written the 3 Split Worlds books, so what's that? 5 books and a book's worth of short stories. And yeah, you just want to go back. I just really want to go back and edit that, but it's out there now. It's done.
Yeah.
Very different to Split Worlds. Obviously, it's a different world and everything, but I really, really, really hope that books 2 and 3 can come out. Because my hatred of love triangles I play with. I slay the love triangle in book 2, I think it is. So I'd really like to unleash that on the world. But yeah, I hope that will get sorted at some point. And lots of people have asked, when is book 2 and 3 coming out? And it's like, I'm sorry, these are the vagaries of the publishing world. There are some complications. So we have to focus on the Split Worlds now.
Do you have any events coming up at any point that you're doing?
Yeah, all the events. So there's Convergence in the States, and that's in Minneapolis, and I'm really looking forward to that. And then straight after that, I think I get home, I have 2 days to recover from the jet lag, and then I'm going up to Derby for Edge Lit, which is a fine event. And then it's 9 Worlds, which I'm really excited about.
That was the Kickstarter.
The Kickstarter, yeah. I backed the Kickstarter, so I was really thrilled when it funded. And I'm hoping, all being well, if the winds are fair and all that business, that I'm going to run some Split Worlds gaming at the
awesome.
event. So some ARG stuff for various levels of immersion. So yes, that's what I'm hoping for. Whether it'll happen, whether I can pull it off, I have no idea. But it's always been my intention with the Split Worlds to have an immersive element as well. I've always wanted to run games, and there are things seeded in the stories which are things which lead into plots in the books, but also lead into game plots that I've got planned. And some of the later stories, I think the penultimate story in The Year and a Day has something that people can actually go and find online, and they can go and get deeper in if they want to.
Would these games be something that you'd have to have read the books?
No. I'm going to design them so that people who've never read the books can just play and have fun. And that if people have read the books, they'll be geeking out on the detail. I like the details, you know what I mean? And if somebody has read the books and then goes and finds the stories, it's my hope that they will be like, oh my god, so that's what that look was, or that's what that reference was. And I'm hoping if they read the stories first, they can have that same experience when they get to the book of, I know what they did. I know why Will did that at that point in the book, because I've read the short story about his experience that leads to that decision. So it's all interconnected in this mad.
Yeah.
I'll be playing it. I'll play any game.
Yeah.
It's a game. I'm there.
Yeah, we're all RPG whores at the end of the day, aren't we? Yeah.
So we were planning on having an RPG special.
We were going to do an RPG special at some point.
We didn't talk about gaming, did we? Oh my god.
No, we have to do it all again.
Do you want to come back on?
Terrible. I would love to. I am so happy to come and geek out and talk about games.
Well, that's fine. That's what this podcast is all
Absolutely.
about.
Jonathan Green wants to come back and do
Jonathan Green wants to come back and
a TV special.
Yeah, talk about TV specials.
And he did the Fighting Fantasy books.
Yes, he did.
So he'd put it on an RPG special as well, which is a massive RPG special.
Well, okay, because we've
That's
been...
a multiplayer
Well, we've been
RPG.
trying to get in touch with the guys who run the Sci-Fi Weekender and say, look, we'd really like to do a live podcast there, but they just don't ever respond, so...
I guess they're maybe not thinking
They're probably
that far ahead.
probably not,
right.
yeah, but, you know, we'll keep at them.
Oh,
and keep
Yeah,
going, you know.
absolutely.
Because
I'm all
we'd love
for
to do
They
that.
get a few
podcasts.
requests.
If they let us do a live stream podcast, that would be outstanding.
It's really cool as well, and I've heard various like live SF squeakcasts and things like that, and the atmosphere that you pick up in the podcast is
Yeah,
great.
it's brilliant. Yeah,
It is
yeah.
great. I love live podcasts.
Because whatever happens, we're going to do some recordings there next
Yeah.
year and see who we can get. Because we went and all the kind of signing lines, rather than asking people to sign stuff, I got them to do intros for the podcast. So I got Brian Blessed and Chase Masterson.
Cheeky bugger.
They all did it, all apart from one. The only person who didn't was the guy who played Curtis in Misfits, who went, oh, I don't think I'm allowed to do that. I was like, ah, fine, whatever. But everybody else was like, of course we'll do it. So we got everybody to record an intro for the podcast.
That's so cool.
So that was great.
But no, I'd love to. I'm a gamer, like was Xbox, but soon to be PS4 for obvious reasons.
Obviously PS4.
Yeah.
Not Xbox One, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Why is it called Xbox One?
Because they got the marketing entirely wrong. That's
Yeah,
why.
they totally. Yeah.
Previous Xboxes.
Well, yeah, but we've got
Yeah, but
HTC
the-
ones as well.
Yeah, but the idea I think is that it's Xbox One, so it's first, it's the best, it's the top.
It's everything.
But it's not.
But it's not. It's basically...
Sounds like A1 Windows.
Everyone's calling it the X-Phone, which makes me
X-Phone.
very happy.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
so
very, that
my,
is
my
not
only
big
my only response that sums it up is Steambox. Sorry.
Yeah, it's got to be PS4. I mean, we used to have a PS2.
We've still got a PS2.
Yeah,
We've never
haven't.
upgraded. We have a PS2 still. It's awesome. I love
Yeah,
Well, I
there's a
had
lot
the
of games
original-
I loved on that.
I had the original Xbox, and then I got the PS1, and then PS2, and PS3. I never got the 360.
it. I love my Ico and Shadows of the Colossus and stuff.
Ico, oh my god,
Aren't they the best
my
games
god,
ever?
oh my god, they are just so good. Ico is so beautiful, 9 hours of perfection.
Yeah.
It's so
It
But
is.
they've redone that in HD on.
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
On the
that's going to be
PS3.
available as a
Have they?
download. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh. I used to love Wipeout 2097 as well.
On PlayStation
my
1.
God, yeah.
That got me through university.
I know,
We played that till like
how
4
many-
in the
I
morning.
know, how many
That
hours?
and Soul Blade.
Oh my god, the legend will never die. Oh, we still say that itself.
And Soul Reaver, Legacy of Kain.
Yeah, Soul
I
Blade.
didn't
It's in
know
Kane,
But Tony Hawk's, that was the one that got me through college on the PlayStation 1.
Tony Hawk's.
Pro Skater 1.
The soundtrack of Wipeout 2097 was so
Orbital.
amazing. Yeah, Future Sound of London.
Yeah.
It was amazing,
Brilliant.
amazing.
Yeah.
Such a great game.
On Hackers, it's Wipeout that they're playing on the big screen in Hackers. That's the game that we play on there. So I love Hackers. That's one of my
I think I might have seen that when drunk. I don't remember it very well.
You have to watch it so
That's
I'll have to watch
that
it
film
again.
made me the man I am today. I went, they're so cool. They have computers, they have rollerblades, it's everything. Sign me up.
Did you play Netrunner, the card
Yeah,
game?
I've still got some Netrunner cards.
Yeah.
Because
I haven't
they've
played that for
revamped
years.
and re-released it now, so there's a whole new version of Netrunner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it came out when it was last year, something like that.
Oh, because I haven't played that for years and years and years.
Because I used to use Netrunner in my tabletop Cyberpunk to do Netruns.
Cool.
So I put them all together. So rather than having to do what was because the net running rules in Cyberpunk 2020 are a nightmare, so it's just easier to do it as a card game.
Fair enough.
But anyways, we're getting more nerdy stuff. We're going to have to call it there because we've got to go and eat food and then go and see Mr. Gaiman.
Yes, we do.
But if you want to come back on and do an RPG special, we will.
Yeah, we'd love
I
to.
would
You
love
would
that.
be more than welcome back on the show.
Yeah, I would love that. Live RPG
Apologies,
stuff or
we didn't get
tabletop
to
or
chat
whatever.
about everything.
You interviewed Chuck Wending, of course. You were at the Hunter game.
I know, and I did not know until after I'd met him, and it just did not connect in my head that he was one of the right. I was so excited about that. He is so cool. I love Chuck. He knows that as well. I had a wisdom teeth surgery, and I was really high on all of these painkillers. And I went on Twitter and told him how much I loved him. And it's like, oh my god, don't tweet when you're high on drugs, kids. Don't do it, kids.
We should have a regular feature on every podcast. Advice from Evan. We've got Ask James Cameron. That's the.
the Ask James Cameron.
Anything to do with time travel, Ask James Cameron.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, kids. I did explain to him that I was drug-addled at the time, and he took it very graciously because he does. But no, I adore him. He's wonderful. Everyone should go bowling with Chuck Wendig because it's just a whole new level of the game. It's wonderful. Yeah. Top
Cool.
bloke.
Okay, well, I think we'll have to leave it there. As much as we'd love to carry on talking, because this has been marvellous.
So much fun.
It's been great fun. But this is what it's like at every convention, and this is why people need to go to conventions.
It is, yes. It really is why people need to go to more conventions, because they're great. So we're off to the London Film and Comic Con in a couple of weeks' time, and that's going to be great fun. So look forward to that.
I'm hopefully trying to get out of work so I can get down to that as well.
Tickets arrive for that today. They're in my pocket right now.
Glowing slightly.
It's the release of Alice on Mars.
It is indeed. Robert Rankin's releasing his new book there. So. Anyways, yes. So, yeah. Sign off, sir.
Well, how do I usually sign this thing up?
Well, you know, say thank you very much for listening. You can find us all on Facebook and on Twitter, and we'll put loads of wonderful notes in the wonderful show notes and let everybody know what's going on. And yeah, so I've been Spindles.
Like Brendan.
I've been Emma.
I've been Emma too.
Thank you all for listening. Until next time, take care and be excellent to each other.